Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. My name's Tom Novak. It's Friday night. We're going to do something completely different. I'm going to show you how to do a geranium bonsai, but if you have any bell pepper plants, either your neighbor or somebody else is getting rid of them and throwing them into the heap, grab them. You can take them and make a bonsai tree out of them. What I did is I pulled them out of the ground, cut the downward roots, the vertical roots, and I just saved the horizontal roots, put them in some good standard bonsai soil. And where I cut them, because the plants were super big, I cut them, dabbed lipstick on there so they wouldn't rot all the way back. And as you can see, they're starting to grow. And they should grow good in the house. Well, I got mine in the basement overwintering, so let's see what happens. Now this is a geranium that I did in the middle of summer, and all I did was take a cutting, and you can see how nice it rooted. It got touched a little bit by the frost, but at least you'll have something to flower for yourself a while away the winter months. And you can always take cuttings and you can put them in a root maker pot. I got a small cutting that just started growing. Here's another cutting. Or if you don't have a root maker's pot, go to any pet shop, and if they sell fish and live plants, see if they have any of these containers that they keep the live plants in that died on them, and ask them for these containers, because this will be a good air root pruning system for yourself, because that's what I did with this little one right here. I just stuffed it in with soil and 50-50 mix of soil and potting soil and perlite, and it's growing. It took about a couple of weeks, but it started to root and it's starting to grow again. And if you can't afford a pot, you've seen this geranium pot. What I did is take an old mushroom pot, and I took it and I just punched holes in there with an ice pick. Now whatever you do, don't hold the pot like this and try to punch a hole in there, because you might go through your finger or your hand. What I do is just put it on the edge or put it on a piece of stone like this, and then I just poke holes in there so you'll hit the stone and not your fingers or your hands. So safety first on that. And all you do is cut a piece of screen, stick it in, and you got it. But today, for all intents and purposes, here's a little bit about the soil that I'm using. I'm using a basic soil mix. 1 cup worm castings, 2 cups peat moss, 1 tablespoon of mycos, the beneficial bacteria, 1 cup sifted perlite, 1 cup sand, or you can just use a standard potting mix. Now geraniums likes a basic soil. You give the plant a good soaking, and then you got to let it dry out before watering it again. And whatever you do, misting ruins the flowers. So if you got any flower buds, don't mist it. And this plant will do well as a house plant in your house in any standard house environment. So you'll have good success with it. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take some that I dug out of the yard, because these little things survive 28-degree Fahrenheit weather. So it's a good, hardy, strong plant. And here's a couple that I dug out of the ground. And here's more over here, so let's see what we got. So on this one, we got a real gnarled root system. That's the way it was grown in a pot. So they're all wrapped around. You can see the roots, but I'll save that one for later. This one here has also wrapped, but at least you can spread the roots out. And some of the gnarl roots are no good, so we'll have to cut some of that off. But what we'll do, the first thing we'll do is, I got this pot from the dollar store. Drilled some holes in it. It was only $1. All it is a tray for office supplies. So what we'll do is we'll take some average soil that I made up, some average potting mix, and we'll put it in the bottom to get us started. And you can see my potting mix. Nice, soft, pliable soil. Putting it in. Now, before I do any more, let's see some of these other plants that I dug out. What I got is a bucket of water here. And what we're going to do is take this plant and dip it, shake it real good inside so we can see how the root system is. Now these are just store-bought cuttings that they sell. And you can see the mess, how the roots are. So what you're going to do, see how they're all wrapped around? They never formed a nice radial root zone, so we're going to do that ourselves. So I'm going to take all that off, put the bucket down, put the cord behind me. Now what we're going to do, we're going to have to find some kind of structure to this. So all I'm going to do is just clip. Now this you can make a cutting. But you see the bottom is soft. So you want that to callus over before you put it in the soil and start your cutting. And these will root real easy. We got a lot of tangled branches here. So we want to try to get a nice trunk line. And this one here might be just as good. We can have a twin trunk. Get some of these out of the way. Take the top off. Take your flowers off so all the energy starts to go into the roots. You'll see how nice that is. And the root base, we're going to look for some gnarled branches, or gnarled roots, and get them out of the way. Anything that's really deformed. But if there's not enough root structure on here, so we're going to take this big piece off here. And then, the roots are really tangled. So we want this tree to have a good start. So what we're going to do is, as you can see the ring here, we're going to cut just above it. We're going to take this and we got a nice little branch coming here. We're going to cut that. And that way there we'll have our nice little root structure here. Or not root structure, but our branch structure. Now we're going to take these branches off. So we get a nice little Nice little base. So we'll have a different twin trunk. We'll see how it grows. I'm not going to dab it with lipstick yet because I'll get it all over me more. Once I get it planted and done, I'll put it in and put the lipstick on the cut edges. So we got one down. Let's find another one. Let me go. There's another one that I dug out of the yard. Rinsing off real good. Get most of that dirt off. Now, you can see this one broke off of the mother plant. So we're going to have a nice little tree there. And we got another twin trunk here. But there's not a lot. You can see how this root's going up. We want to get rid of this one. See how it's making a U shape? So we're going to cut right about there so we can get most of this taproot off. And then we're going to cut this back. And we'll have a nice little different contour so we can take, this one has roots on it. So, but we'll sacrifice that. And we got a nice little contour tree for our forest setting that we're going to make. Now this one here is real nice. I'm going to cut it right above the node. So we'll get different height structures. Now this we can probably keep as a main tree in the background. We'll see how we plant it. Right now I'll take this off. And this one because it's crossing. Take all the dead stuff off because this will root. The roots will grow, but look how gnarled they look. So what I'm going to do is cut this. We'll have a nice... This one's gnarled. Look how it wraps around. So I'm going to cut it here. Now we're trying to get a nice radial root base, but this one's having its own mind. And right now this one, I think I'll put it in a separate pot because it doesn't have no roots, and I'll treat it as a cutting. So let's see how our other one is. This one might be a little better. It's got some good root structure here. I'll just take these curved roots off. So this will help it to be a radial root base. This one's really going around. So it all depends how they grow in pots, but hey, you get them for free, you get them for free. You can't let the gift horse in the mouth. So we're going to take this one growing into the V of the plant. So right above. So I think we'll take this one off and just use that main stem. We'll cut this part off. We'll have a nice little, hopefully another beginning of a tree. So we got two more here. This one has a little bit of a nice root base. But we'll clip some of the foliage off so we can see what we're doing. We don't want this one here or this one here. We got a triple trunk, so maybe that might suffice. cut some of the dead stuff off. And this one here will cut just above the ring, if you can see it. Right above there, let me cut this. There's the ring right there. Now we're going to dab all this with lipstick later. And the root base here, I can just smooth it out, and let's see if we can get a nice radial root base. So let's try it out. Oh, I got one more. Let me rinse it out. And we got a pretty good little root structure, but you never know when you get them from the store. So let's take this piece off here, and we'll take this one growing into the branch there, into the middle, so we have a nice area tree, if we can make it into one. So we'll cut this off about here, and this one up about here. You can see where the brain is, a little ring, and we can have like a little sacrificial branch. We'll see which one, how it develops later on, but something different. Now we got to untangle the roots. And if you can see this root, how it goes into like a snake, you don't want that, because we want to get a nice radial root system. So we'll take that one off. Hold on to your roots. Whatever's cut, that's stripped on you. Now, for now, until we can get everything planted and everything growing, we'll do more root work later on in the year. Well, not this year. This year's going to be over, but in the summer of next year. So we can put this one about there, but let me get some more potting soil, my own basic mix. Put it in. And what I'm going to do, if I can find my sprayer, there it is. I'm just going to wet the soil down a little bit so the roots get in contact with the soil real good. So I'll spread the roots out the best I can to have a nice radial root base. It's a little low in the pot, so we're going to put this one up a little bit higher. Work the soil into the roots. Try this one now. We're gonna spread the roots out into a radial pattern, something like that. We get our potting soil. Now, if you don't have lipstick, like I say, you can always use wood glue. But I find lipstick, unlike wood glue, when you get them in the bottles, they tend to dry out at the top. So, lipstick is about your best bet. You can put this nice big one towards the front. See how this root is bent in? So we're just going to cut that little piece of root off. Now this is just a forest that we're just going to start to get to grow. You can always move it around later on after everything's grown and you want to, after a good summer's growth, you can always repot it in the fall. Now we got a small one. We can either put it here or we can put our double here, so you don't want them in direct line with each other. So this one I can probably put here. I don't know if you can see. I'm sorry I don't have close-up cameras. But what are you going to do when you only got, when you're on a tight budget? You make men's what you can do. But at least you get the basic idea of what you can, how you can plant these little geraniums. Now if your neighbor has some growing, ask him if you can have them before he throws them into the trash. This way here, it's not going to cost you anything. Now this one I can stick with the curved trunk. Maybe this way. Get our root structure there. Oh, maybe something like that. You can see better than I can. But I think that looks pretty good. It's just something that you can do, and it's cheap. You can always get geraniums in the spring when they're on sale, especially when they're getting rid of them and they're all getting to be dried out, and they're selling them for, instead of $2, like for 99 cents. And sometimes you wait, like I got these, I think they were like 50 cents. So don't worry about spending money. Now here's another one. One of our little baby ones. I'm going to stick it right here. Make a little hole for the root. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have to worry about being odds or evens, as long as it looks like a nice little forest. That's all that counts. Now, like I said, if you want cuttings, make sure you let it, the cut part heal over. You know, so you get a nice little scab on it. Now let's water this in a little bit. Something easy to do. It's cheap. So go to your neighbors, and if they didn't throw their geraniums out, ask for them. Dig them out. Whatever root you can save, save. Now, if it doesn't have much, don't worry. These are growing in the basement for me, so they'll get, as long as you get some nice cool temperatures, which they like. Pat it down. And you can always modify them later. Like this one here. We'll save it. Either take this one off, because it's got like a V branch, which is a twin trunk, so we don't want to get an inverse taper where it gets fat on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is cut it. like I says, we're gonna seal them with lipstick as soon as I can find it, because I misplaced it. But you know how to just dab it on. That's all you got to do. And this way here, it'll prevent it from rotting. So you dab all your cut parts with lipstick. Now what we're going to do, just take some basic rocks for your little forest. Let's see what we got. This will help stabilize the trees into the soil until they start to, the roots start to grow. It'll help stabilize them. So just get whatever rocks you can find, put them in. You'll have a nice little forest. And don't worry, oh, you got to have odds, you got to have even, you know, it's got to be an odd number. No. It's a nice little forest here that looks random. What we're going to do is give it a little bit of a watering. If any roots are showing, you can just give it a dab and cover it up. Now if you really want to spruce it up, what you can do is take some corium gravel and just sprinkle it around your setting. It'll just be something different. Just to decorate it. Pat it in. You can always add some more little rocks. And just a nice little forest setting. Something different. And you'll be rewarded with flowers. So it'll take a while, but you can see the forest. And don't forget, I'm going to dab it with lipstick. And then, once you start to form a scab on the bottom, then what you can do is you cut off all the dead leaves. Some of them, just leave some so they can grow. And then what you're going to do is take it. I'm going to just do it now, but I'll pull it out. I just want to show you what I'm going to do with this pot. All I'm going to do is push it in, and since the soil's dry, I won't water it until tomorrow. Get it all the way in. By that time it should callus over. You get a nice root pruning pot with all the holes, so if they grow out, they'll air prune themselves. You'll have a nice little bonsai. Now, if you have stones like this, you can always try to fit one in, but these holes are a little too small. But you got your own little bonsai tree. So remember, this geranium I'm not going to water until tomorrow because I want it to callus off. So I can make a lot of cuttings, and with this one I'll just snip it some more. And I'll plant it in this way. And hopefully these roots will grow. And and I'll get another little bonsai tree. So, geraniums are easy, they're cheap. Try it. You got nothing to lose. Plus, you get the added bonus of flowers. And if you want to keep your geranium and flower for the wintertime, just keep cutting them off when they all get when all the flowers start to die off, so they don't go to seed, and you'll keep producing flowers. But like I says, look, that's a mushroom pot that you sell mushrooms in, a plastic tray. Just punch holes in there and that's it, and you got yourself a bonsai pot. Cheap and easy. So remember, go find your neighbors. See if they have some geranium plants left. So my name's Tom Novak. It's Friday night. Big band night. Turn on some big band music. Relax with a nice hot cup of tea because it's cold out. Or, if it's not too late, grab your wife or your girlfriend, or push the kitchen table and chairs on the side. Put on that old-time dance music and enjoy. And be with your loved ones. So you take care. In the next video, I'll try and get something completely different. So you take care of yourself. Thank you for coming to Grow and Clip Bonsai. My name's Tom Novak. And sorry for bending over like this, but this is the best way I can film. Take care.